Here's what everyone gets wrong about having multiple interests. They tell you, pick one thing and master it. But here's the problem. When you pick just one, you feel like you're abandoning pieces of yourself. Your energy dies. So you try doing all 5 projects at once, and 3 weeks later, you've quit everything because you're completely burned out. But what if I told you that you don't actually lose interest because you're a quitter? You lose interest because you're juggling all 5 passions in your head simultaneously, randomly bouncing between them, and your brain can't handle that chaos. The solution isn't choosing fewer interests. It's giving each interest exactly what it needs to survive: structure, focus, and visible progress. And today, I'm showing you the one habit that makes this possible: the 90-minute interest block. Let me show you what's really happening when you abandon your projects. Most people think multi-passionate individuals quit when things get hard. That's not true. You quit when you feel like you're making 0 progress. Picture this. Monday, you spend 2 hours learning Python. Tuesday, you switch to your photography course. Wednesday, you're writing your novel. By Friday, you look back and realize your code still doesn't work, your photos still look amateur, and your novel is stuck on page 7. Nothing moved forward. That's when the voice in your head says, maybe I'm just not good at anything. The brutal truth? Your brain craves novelty, which is why you have multiple interests in the first place, but it also desperately needs to see progress. Without predictable structure, you get the novelty, but none of the progress. And progress is what keeps you interested. This is why you need one simple rule that satisfies both needs. Here's the habit: the 90-minute interest block. One interest, 90 minutes, complete focus. And you schedule at least 3 of these blocks per week for each passion you want to pursue. Why exactly 90 minutes? Because it's the sweet spot. It's long enough for you to enter deep work, that flow state where you actually make meaningful progress. But it's short enough that you can see the finish line, which prevents the overwhelm that makes you quit. When you know there's an end in sight, your brain stops resisting and starts performing. Now here's the critical rule that makes this work. During those 90 minutes, you touch nothing else. When that brilliant idea for your podcast pops into your head while you're coding, you don't switch. You don't just quickly check your other project. Instead, you grab a sticky note, write down that idea, and throw it in your idea waiting list box. That idea isn't lost. It's just waiting for its own 90-minute block. This is how you honor your novelty-seeking brain without destroying your focus. The idea gets captured. Your current project keeps moving forward. Everybody wins. But here's the secret weapon that most people miss: the next step note. In the final 5 minutes of every 90-minute block, you write down the exact next action for this project. Not vague goals, specific actions. Don't write, work on the book. Write, outline the 3 main conflicts in Chapter 4. Don't write, practice guitar. Write, learn the chord progression for the bridge section of Wonderwall. This 5-minute investment eliminates the activation energy for your next session. You won't waste 20 minutes figuring out where you left off. You'll sit down, read your note, and immediately start working. This single habit is the difference between projects that die and projects that thrive. Let me give you 3 practical tips to make this actually work in your chaotic, real-world life. First, schedule these blocks like doctor's appointments. Open your calendar right now. Digital or paper, doesn't matter. and block out your 90-minute sessions. Label them specifically: guitar practice block, novel writing block, business planning block. These aren't suggestions. They're non-negotiable commitments to yourself. When that time arrives, nothing else exists. Second, use a physical timer. Set it for 90 minutes, and when it starts, you're in that world and only that world. The physical act of starting the timer creates a psychological boundary. Your scattered brain suddenly has permission to focus because there's a defined container for this work. And when the timer goes off, you're done. No guilt. That project got its time. And tomorrow, another passion gets its turn. Third, batch your idea processing. Remember that idea waiting list box full of sticky notes? Once a week, schedule a 30-minute block to review all of them. Some ideas will still feel exciting. Schedule them into upcoming 90-minute blocks. Others will feel irrelevant. Throw them away. This weekly ritual lets you scratch the novelty itch while keeping it contained. Your ideas get attention, but they don't derail your focused work. Here's what you need to understand. The goal isn't to have fewer interests. The goal is to give each interest the structure it needs to actually thrive instead of slowly suffocating under the weight of your scattered attention. The 90-minute interest block is your permission slip to be exactly who you are, someone with diverse passions and endless curiosity, while also being someone who finishes things and makes real progress. So, here's your challenge. Take your top 3 projects right now. Open your calendar. Schedule 3 90-minute blocks for each one this week. That's 9 blocks total. And after every single session, write your next step note. Now I want to hear from you. What's your main passion project, and what's the single, specific next step note you're committing to today? Drop it in the comments below. Let's hold each other accountable. Because you're not going to stop having multiple interests, so let's stop pretending that's the problem and start building the structure that lets all of them flourish.